What's up, everyone? You're tuned into Six Path Weeb, welcome to the channel. Today, we're diving into another chapter of our epic fanfic journey, What If Naruko Fell from the Heavens? Part 3. Quick disclaimer, this content is purely for entertainment and fan discussion. I do not own any of the anime footage featured, all rights and credit go to their original creators and copyright holders. Now, without further ado, let's jump right in. Naruko gently scratched the back of her head and spoke softly, You see, Gigi. The Hokage looked at her with a raised eyebrow. Yes? Do you have something important to share, Naruko? Naruko let out a small sigh and thought to herself, he would find out eventually. Could you please ask the Anbu to leave and place privacy seals around the room? The Hokage's eyes widened, clearly surprised. How does Naruko even know about the Anbu? And the privacy seals? He quickly gathered himself and gave a signal to the Anbu present. They left without a word. Afterward, he activated the privacy seals and reassured her, all right, no one can hear or see anything inside this room now. Naruko gave a small nod, took a deep breath, and closed her eyes for a moment. Then she calmly began to explain everything she had experienced, starting from the moment she was nearly harmed by villagers, to her encounter with Hinako and the powerful spirit within her. She also spoke about Kustos and what he was capable of, as well as her late mother, Kushina, and the things she had told her. The Hokage was stunned, jaw slightly agape as he took in the full account. Before he could even respond, a sudden light filled the room. When it faded, a graceful woman stood in its place. Naruko's eyes widened in joy, and she rushed forward with a cheerful shout, Hinako-ne. She leapt into the woman's arms, beaming with happiness. The Hokage blinked, startled, and then promptly fainted from the overwhelming surprises. Half an hour later. The Hokage groaned lightly as he stirred back to consciousness in his chair. As he spotted Naruko and Hinako nearby, the memories of what just occurred rushed back. He let out a heavy sigh. Hinako turned to him with a calm expression. We need to discuss a few important matters. After their conversation, the Hokage nodded in understanding. So Naruko is connected to the Celestials. Hinako had raised concerns about Naruko's living conditions and requested that she be moved to a more suitable home. She also explained Naruko's rightful inheritance. Although the inheritance was originally set to be granted at a later age or upon achieving a higher ninja rank, the Hokage agreed to make arrangements. Naruko would now reside in the Namikaze estate, receive a monthly allowance, and be permitted to begin her training as a ninja under careful supervision. Hinako had firmly advocated for this decision. As Hinako gently vanished along with Naruko, the Hokage looked at the mountain of paperwork on his desk and groaned in exasperation. So much to do. Meanwhile, Hinako led Naruko to her family home, the Namikaze residence. Hidden behind the Hokage monument, the estate was secret to most and only accessible to members of the Namikaze lineage. Deep within a dense, enchanted forest known as the Forest of Illusions, it had remained undisturbed. The house itself was magnificent, uniquely merged with a grand tree, giving it a mystical appearance. When Naruko placed her chakra and a drop of her blood on the sealing symbols at the gate, it slowly opened, revealing the breathtaking estate. Naruko stood in awe. A stunning house nestled within and around a giant magical tree stretched high into the sky. In front, vibrant gardens bloomed with exotic flowers and plants. A serene stream wound its way through the property. Hinako smiled, watching Naruko's wonder. The house is quite special. It was built first, and then a relative of yours helped grow the tree around it. This is the Tree of Magic, created through the life energy of three powerful clans, Namikaze, Uzumaki, and Senju. You're connected to all three. Naruko looked at her, amazed. Hinako giggled gently and placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. The first Hokage helped the tree grow. The Namikaze used their talents to make the air here perfect. The Uzumaki, your mother's clan, infused it with their spirit energy. That's why the flowers here never fade, because elemental spirits live here. You'll meet them soon. As she guided Naruko through the estate, Hinako explained more. There are 3 bedrooms, each with their own bathroom. The kitchen is filled with fresh, healthy food from the garden. There's even a dining room up in the tree, a natural lake, and a great library filled with incredible techniques, waiting just for you. Naruko looked up at the sky, feeling a peaceful excitement. There's so much to explore. In the shadows nearby. An Anbu agent with a hidden symbol whispered, she's discovered her heritage. I must report to Dansu-sama. And with that, the agent vanished. A week later, Naruko sat peacefully atop the great tree, her spirit content. She had explored the estate, met the friendly animals that roamed the forest, and even communicated with the elemental spirits who now recognized her. Her new bedroom was tranquil and cozy. Painted in soft blues, the room featured a king-sized bed, elegant curtains, and a balcony with a breathtaking view. The attached bathroom had been carefully crafted from natural materials and advanced systems developed by the Hokage ancestors. The kitchen on the ground floor was both beautiful and functional, designed by her mother to accommodate many guests. The chakra-powered stove and freezer room kept the house self-sufficient. Outside the kitchen, lush gardens flourished under the watchful care of an elemental spirit. Beyond those gardens, the forest continued, filled with wonder and life. Naruko had spent time in the library, learning about her bloodlines. One book spoke of the voice of the wind, a rare spiritual affinity that granted her deep connection and control over wind. It wasn't a visible ability like certain clans had, but something more spiritual, more attuned to nature. She remembered a passage from the scroll. The voice of the wind is not a physical trait, but a spiritual connection. Only those accepted by the spirits of the wind may undergo the awakening. If they pass the tests, they will be gifted with great wisdom and abilities tied to the wind. Naruko took those words to heart and trained diligently. She also learned about her celestial heritage, the heavenly gift. The Uzumaki scrolls revealed ancient knowledge about celestial angels. These rare beings, born once every 1,000 years, were known for their purity and harmony. Though rare, celestial angels were deeply respected by many races, elementals, spirits, animals, and more. They were symbols of peace and balance. The scrolls spoke of their abilities, from sensing emotions to communing with nature. They were chosen to help bring light to the world. Each celestial angel had a guardian, someone born to protect them, linked through destiny. Guardians carried special marks and powers to guide and support their celestial. If the celestial awakened successfully, they could reach divine heights. Their bond with the guardian was so deep that it transcended time and space. Naruko had begun her own awakening journey, growing stronger each day. Though challenges lay ahead, she faced them with grace and quiet determination. Elsewhere, a mysterious figure sat alone, listening to a spy's report. "The child is a celestial. And she's alive," the voice whispered. The figure gave a slow smile, contemplating what this revelation could mean. The celestial hierarchy of angels. The angels are organized into several sacred orders known as the angelic choirs. First sphere angels are the most closely connected to the divine presence. This sphere includes the seraphim, cherubim, and orphanim. The seraphim are the highest order, known as the burning ones. They are the eternal caretakers of the divine throne, upholding the harmony and sanctity of the heavens. With 6 radiant wings, they fly with 2, veil their faces with 2, and cover themselves in reverence with the remaining 2. Their role is to maintain the divine balance and to surround the throne with unwavering devotion. The cherubim, the second highest, reside closest to the throne. These beings have 4 majestic faces, those of a lion, an ox, an eagle, and a human, symbolizing their wisdom and power. Their bodies shine with celestial beauty, and their wings are covered with eyes, signifying constant awareness. They serve as protectors of sacred places such as the Garden of Eden and the Tree of Life. The orphanim, also called thrones or elders, are beings of divine justice and movement. They appear as glowing wheels within wheels, sparkling like gems, their rims filled with countless eyes. Often stationary yet filled with vast power, they reflect humility and impartiality as they interpret divine guidance and uphold order. Second sphere angels are heavenly governors who guide and direct the cosmos and realms below. This includes the dominions, virtues, and powers. Dominions, also known as lordships, oversee the responsibilities of lower angels. Rarely appearing before humans, they are said to be serene and graceful, often holding glowing orbs. Each nation is believed to have its own dominion. Virtues are in charge of the natural order of the universe, including celestial bodies. They are the stewards of balance among stars, planets, and heavenly forces. Powers, also known as authorities, safeguard harmony among all beings. They carry out divine order, help distribute influence across humanity, and preserve spiritual history. Third sphere angels serve as guardians, guides, and messengers. These include the principalities, archangels, and angels. Principalities, or rulers, guide communities and inspire wisdom and creativity. They carry out the will of the dominions and offer insight to humankind through the arts and sciences. Archangels are prominent messengers and protectors of nations. Among them are the 7 archangels, each dedicated to a particular country or region. Angels who show exemplary service may ascend to this role. Angels, also known as Malachim, are the most recognized and involved with human life. They take many forms and have varied roles. Messenger angels deliver messages across the realms. They possess great speed and the ability to appear unseen. Guardian angels are assigned to individuals to offer silent guidance. Though they cannot interfere directly, they encourage and protect subtly. Healing angels use their celestial gifts to heal and comfort. They are often seen as peaceful and nurturing. Angels of prophecy are visionaries, able to see glimpses of possible futures. These glimpses often come as warnings or important messages. Warrior angels are skilled in elemental forces and the use of sacred weapons. They ensure peace and balance, and protect against chaos. Hooty are innocent, childlike spirits with small wings. While not part of the angelic hierarchy, they are gentle souls who dwell with the cherubim and orphanim. At this time, only one celestial angel remained in the world. However, the other angels, whether of the higher spheres or the celestial choir, had not forgotten her and made sure she would be prepared for what was to come. Story scene. Disclaimer: this is a work of fanfiction. I do not own Naruto. Naruko was wandering peacefully around the compound when she remembered her earlier encounter with the elementals. Flashback. Naruko had been exploring the lush gardens when she came across a calm lake, and near the water, she saw a woman bathing. Young and curious, Naruko, who was only 5 at the time, approached the scene and tilted her head in innocent wonder. "Who are you?" she asked brightly. The woman turned to her with a warm smile. Wrapping a towel around herself, she replied, "I'm Ondine, a water elemental. And who might you be, little one?" Naruko's eyes sparkled. "I'm Naruko. Nice to meet you, Ne-chan. You have a beautiful name." Ondine chuckled softly. "Thank you, Naruko. It's truly a pleasure to meet you. I live here now." Naruko beamed. "My mom and dad used to live here too." Ondine's expression turned soft with understanding. "So, the daughter of Minato and Kushina. You knew my parents?" Naruko asked, eyes wide. "Yes, I did," Ondine replied, now dressed in a flowing white tunic and light blue sandals. She wore a delicate necklace with a blue dolphin pendant. Her long blonde hair swayed gently as she smiled. "You're really pretty, Ne-chan," Naruko said with admiration. "Thank you, sweet one," Ondine said warmly. "And I accept you. From now on, I will lend you my guidance." "Really? Yay," Naruko exclaimed, bouncing with joy. Ondine smiled once more before vanishing in a graceful swirl of water. Her parting words echoed gently, "Be mindful of the other elementals, little one." Awed, Naruko continued exploring the beautiful garden. Her next destination was what she called the Big Tree, a towering tree that seemed to glow with magical energy. As she climbed its branches, she spotted someone resting high up. Curious, she made her way toward the stranger. The person had tousled brown hair and wore only a pair of earth-tone pants. Naruko gently nudged him awake. "Hey, mister, why are you sleeping in the tree?" The man stirred, blinking slowly. I was resting. How did you get up here?" "I climbed," Naruko replied proudly. He looked at her more carefully. "So this is the child of Minato and Kushina. You climbed all the way up here?" Naruko nodded. "Yep. I'm Naruko. What's your name, mister?" He smiled, tousling her hair. "The name's Golem. I'm an earth elemental." Then, stepping down from the branch, he stood tall. "And I accept you as well." With that, Golem slowly merged into the bark of the tree, his voice echoing gently, "See you, Naruko." Naruko stared in awe. Cool. Naruko's journey with the elementals. Naruko continued to explore the magnificent tree that served as her new home. She passed the dining area nestled within a clearing high above the ground. It was a wide, circular space made entirely from polished wood, with a large round dining table at its center. Just beyond it was a charming balcony that offered a breathtaking view of the entire compound. Curious as ever, Naruko continued her adventure upward, climbing higher and higher. When she reached the top, she perched herself on a sturdy branch and looked out at the horizon. Suddenly, she noticed a graceful woman floating in the sky, laughing joyfully. Naruko's eyes widened with wonder. She pointed and exclaimed with cheerful excitement, "Wow! That's so cool!" The woman in the sky paused, hovering gently in the air, and turned to see the small girl staring up at her in awe. With a warm smile, she floated closer and called out kindly, "Aw, how adorable! What's your name, little one?" Naruko tilted her head curiously and replied, "My name's Naruko." "What's your name, big sister?" The woman laughed with delight and replied, "Naruko, what a lovely name. I'm Sylph, an air elemental." Naruko's face lit up. "That's amazing. Would you like to be friends?" Sylph smiled sweetly, then gently floated down to Naruko's branch and gave her a quick kiss on the forehead. "I'd love to be your friend. I accept you, and I promise to always support you." With a final giggle, she vanished into a gentle swirl of wind. "See you again, Naru-chan." Naruko beamed with happiness. "That makes 3 elementals who've accepted me." She climbed back down with excitement and curiosity bubbling inside her. Her next destination was the underground section of the tree. There, she discovered a large door leading to an even larger room. She stepped inside and gasped in amazement. The room was filled with scrolls, more than 500 of them, all neatly arranged in alphabetical order and by category: fire, water, wind, earth, lightning, and more. As she wandered in wonder, Naruko noticed someone sitting at the center of the room, a kind-looking man dressed in elegant robes, reading a scroll. Naruko couldn't quite see what he was reading due to her height, so she gently tugged at his sleeve to get his attention. The man looked up with a friendly smile. "Well, hello there, little one. What brings you here? Are you exploring?" Naruko nodded cheerfully. "Yep. I live here now. I'm just looking around." The man laughed kindly. "You must be Naruko, right?" Naruko tilted her head. "How'd you know?" "I was a friend of your mother and father," the man said, patting her head affectionately. "Really? That's so cool. Are you an elemental too?" "Yes indeed," the man said with a smile. "I'm Hotari, a fire elemental." Naruko's eyes sparkled. "Will you accept me too?" Hotari stood and gave a respectful bow. "Of course, I accept you, Naruko." With a warm smile, he faded away in a swirl of dancing flames. After that, Naruko continued to explore the tree with joy in her heart. Later, at the library. Naruko giggled softly at the memory of meeting her elemental friends as she walked through the familiar halls of the tree. She made her way to the large, ancient library. As always, the grand doors opened on their own, a gentle reminder of the magic surrounding her. "It's always like this. The doors open by themselves," she thought, smiling. She walked over to the history section. She had recently finished reading about the angelic hierarchy but still wondered about her own place within it. Her gaze shifted to a new book on the shelf titled The Elementals. Carefully, she pulled it out and began to read. The Elementals. Elementals are beings created from or deeply connected to the natural elements. They often appear human-like in form but are actually magical and unique in nature. Each elemental is bonded to an element such as fire, water, wind, earth, and more. They use their powers to maintain balance in the world. Fire. Fire represents strength and determination. Though powerful and energetic, fire can also warm and protect. Fire elementals draw strength from the sun. Their leader is Sol, guardian of the sun. Water. Water symbolizes adaptability and renewal. It brings peace but can be powerful when necessary. Water elementals are often guided by the ocean and the moon. Their leader is Ua, protector of tides and serenity. Wind. Wind stands for freedom and movement. It flows gently but can also rise in defense when loved ones are threatened. Wind elementals find power in the sky. Their leader is the angel Ananiah. Earth. Earth represents strength and resilience. Earth elementals are grounded and wise. They are deeply connected to the world around them and often prefer peace. Their leader is Gaia, also known as Mother Earth. Ether, or ether is the element of light and life. It supports the balance of all other elements. Celestial angels, guardians of peace and harmony, are the only ones who can fully master this element. Ice. Ice is a unique element that shares similarities with water but stands on its own. Ice elementals are calm and graceful, drawing strength from cold environments. Their leader is Shiva, the Ice Queen. Electricity. Electricity is bright, fast, and energetic. It combines the traits of wind and fire. These elementals are quick and often unpredictable. Their leader is Maya, a powerful and wise elemental. Nature. Nature is the heart of all life, deeply tied to earth and water. Nature elementals are compassionate and in tune with living beings. They are guided by Gaia, who also leads the earth elementals. Darkness. Darkness represents mystery and the unknown. It can be protective and quiet, and not all darkness is harmful. Those who understand this element must be wise and careful. There is no one ruler of darkness, but many powerful beings work in harmony with it, drawing power from the mysterious void. Naruko gently closed the book, her heart full of wonder and her curiosity growing. So many amazing elementals. And I've already met some of them, she whispered with a smile. I wonder who I'll meet next. And with that, she set off on her next adventure, ready to learn more about the world of the elementals and her place within it. After reading a book, Naruko gently closed it and placed it back on the shelf. Deciding to get some fresh air, she stepped outside for a walk. However, just as she passed the front gate, the protective seals on the door glowed softly, a sign that someone had arrived. Naruko paused, puzzled but calm. Whenever the seals activated, she would receive a subtle mental signal indicating a visitor. Curious, she walked cautiously to the gate and opened it. Standing before her was a masked figure, resembling an Anbu, though the design of the mask bore the symbol of Ni, root, suggesting a different affiliation. Still alert, Naruko asked, "Who are you?" The figure bowed respectfully and replied in a calm, even tone, "I mean no harm, Uzumaki-san. Dansu-sama has requested an opportunity to speak with you." Naruko noticed that the figure spoke with no visible emotion, which made her feel a little uneasy, though she remained composed. "And who is this Dansu-sama you speak of?" "He is my superior and has asked me to deliver his message." Naruko nodded slowly, observing the messenger carefully. Though only 5 years old, she was remarkably perceptive and wise beyond her years. She listened attentively and focused on the energy around the person, quietly using her special ability to sense honesty and hidden intentions. She detected no deception. After a thoughtful pause, Naruko replied, "I understand. Let him know I will meet with him here at my home. We can speak then." The masked figure nodded. "Very well, Uzumaki-san. Dansu-sama has proposed a specific time for the meeting, if you are willing." "And when would that be?" she asked. "Noon." Naruko smiled gently and gave a polite bow. "That will be fine. Please give my regards to your master. I will see him tomorrow at noon." The figure returned the bow and vanished quietly into the air. Naruko exhaled softly, feeling the calm of the evening settle in again. She made her way back inside, carefully closing the gate behind her. Soon after, she began her nightly routine, preparing for rest and dreaming about what the next day might bring. Far away, in an underground chamber, the masked messenger reappeared and bowed before a figure seated in the shadows. "She has accepted your invitation, Dansu-sama. Naruko Uzumaki will meet you at her home tomorrow at noon for lunch," he reported, kneeling respectfully. Dansu nodded slowly, his voice composed and authoritative. "Very well. I will visit her tomorrow." He paused in thought, then added, "You may go now." The messenger stood, gave a final respectful bow, and vanished in a puff of smoke. Dansu gave a rare, quiet smile. "Tomorrow, I will meet her. A young star with great promise." Elsewhere, a young girl trained diligently with her wooden sword, sparring with an experienced mentor. After an intense but focused session, they lowered their swords and bowed to one another. "That's the end of today's training," the instructor said kindly. "You did very well." The girl beamed. "Thank you, sensei. I always try my best." The instructor gave her a nod of encouragement before walking off. Left alone, the girl looked up at the sky, a quiet smile on her face. "The time is almost here," she thought, feeling both anticipation and peace. A new morning for Naruko. Naruko awoke to the golden sunlight filtering in through the curtains of her balcony window. Slowly, she sat up in bed, closing her eyes and embracing the warmth of the morning rays. With a simple word, her bed neatly arranged itself, thanks to a helpful sealing jutsu she had crafted. She made her way to the bathroom, brushing her teeth to freshen up and then washing her face. After tending to her morning routine, she stepped into the shower, letting the warm water flow over her. She shampooed her hair, scrubbed gently with soap, and stood for a few peaceful moments, enjoying the calm. Once clean and refreshed, she returned to her room and dressed in her training attire, a soft white shirt bearing the Uzumaki clan symbol, comfortable black shorts, and her usual black shinobi sandals. Ready for the day, she headed into the garden, where she picked ripe strawberries and raspberries, smiling as the morning dew sparkled on the leaves. After rinsing the berries in the kitchen, she carried the small basket up to the dining area nestled high in the tree, a special spot surrounded by nature. As she sat and enjoyed her fruit, her thoughts wandered. I wonder what today's meeting is going to be about. After finishing her breakfast, Naruko began her training. She created several shadow clones, Some were sent to the library for research, others focused on chakra control exercises, and a few more practiced various jutsu techniques. Meanwhile, Naruko herself chose to meditate, sitting peacefully among the sounds of the wind and rustling leaves. In her meditative state, she found herself within her inner mindscape, a beautiful, sunlit meadow surrounded by blooming flowers and tall trees. In the distance, she spotted Kazuki, resting against a tree. With a playful grin, she pounced gently on him. "Careful, little one," Kazuki muttered with a soft chuckle, not at all surprised by her energy. Naruko giggled and nestled into his neck. "Sorry," she mumbled, her voice barely audible. Kazuki shifted slightly and cradled her comfortably in his lap, ruffling her hair affectionately. "You all right, little one?" Naruko looked up at him and replied softly, "I'm fine. Do you think my parents would be proud of me?" Kazuki smiled, brushing her hair gently. "Of course they would be. I'm already proud of you myself." Naruko gave a warm smile and rested her head on his chest. "Thanks, Kazu-ni." After a few moments of calm, Naruko stood and said with renewed energy, "Let's train." Kazuki stood and stretched, then the two began a gentle, skill-focused session. After their training, Naruko sat catching her breath, tired but happy. She accepted Kazuki's hand and stood up with a grateful smile. "Thanks, Kazu-ni. That was amazing." Kazuki laughed lightly. "You're really improving, little one." Naruko returned from her mindscape and stretched her limbs, noticing the time, 11:20 a.m. She sent a few clones to help prepare lunch and took a quick shower to freshen up once more. Afterwards, she dressed in a pristine white kimono featuring both the Uzumaki swirl and the Namikaze family crest on the back. Elegant golden fox motifs ran along the sides, and an orange sash tied it all together. After brushing her hair, she looked at her reflection and smiled, feeling calm and composed. At 11:45 a.m., she set the dining table in the treehouse. She then visited the basement to activate the protective seals, carefully channeling her chakra into each one. After checking everything, she walked outside to admire the flowers in the front yard. Moments later, the entrance seals activated, indicating a visitor. At the gate stood an elderly man accompanied by two masked guards. "It's a pleasure to finally meet you, Naruko-san. I am Danzo." "Likewise," Naruko replied with a polite nod. "Please come in for lunch, though I kindly ask that your guards remain outside." Danzo nodded. "Very well." He signaled his companions, who respectfully bowed and vanished from sight. Naruko led Danzo inside, walking along the peaceful garden path. "This is the front yard. The flowers stay in bloom, thanks to the elemental spirits who watch over the compound," she explained kindly. Danzo was intrigued. Elemental spirits? He thought to himself. As they approached a grand tree, Naruko gestured upwards. "This is the tree of magic. My ancestors cultivated it, along with the house built into it." Danzo followed as Naruko teleported them to the dining area nestled among the branches. He was surprised by the stunning view, able to see far beyond the distant mountain range. Naruko invited him to sit as clones appeared to serve the meal. They placed beautifully prepared dishes before them, then bowed and disappeared. "Please enjoy," Naruko said with a warm smile. Danzo nodded, "Itadakimasu," and they began to eat. They conversed throughout the meal. Naruko spoke about her training, her heritage, and her goals, while Danzo shared tales of his experiences and discussed the origins of his organization, Root. "You founded Root?" Naruko asked, curious. "Yes," he replied. "I believed there needed to be a group capable of handling the more delicate missions, ones that required precise coordination and resilience." Naruko nodded, thoughtfully considering his words. Then, without warning, Danzo offered, "Would you like to join Root?" Naruko was taken aback. She fell silent for a moment, surprised by the question. Finally, she nodded slowly. "Yes. I'll join Root." Danzo smiled with satisfaction. He saw great potential in Naruko, all she needed was the right guidance. In another part of the world, a young girl gazed up at the sky, her eyes calm and focused. "The time is drawing near," she thought. She waited patiently, knowing her purpose, to protect the last celestial. He had not yet awakened, and so she trained daily, preparing herself for the moment she would be needed. She was highly skilled in swordsmanship and hand-to-hand combat, already surpassing her teacher and earning the title of a true master. Her weapon, Serenity, responded only to her and no one else. Her wings, pure and white, had already appeared, a sign of her readiness. Gifted in elemental arts, she had mastered water and air, and trained diligently in the mysterious element of ether. Though her use of ether was limited, she compensated with precision and creativity in the other elements. Her healing abilities were growing as well, and she was progressing steadily through her medical studies. She was strong, wise beyond her years, and above all, patient. All she had to do was wait. As Danzo departed the compound, Naruko remained at the gate, her mind replaying their conversation. Would you like to join Root? She reflected quietly before affirming, yes. I'll join Root. Danzo had smiled then, clearly pleased. He saw in her a gifted shinobi with extraordinary promise. I'm already training under someone, Naruko had added. Oh? Danzo responded with interest. You're working on your Kekkei Genkai, then? Naruko blinked, surprised. You know about that? Danzo chuckled gently. Yes, I do. And I may be able to support your progress in that area, too. Naruko beamed, thank you, Danzo Oji-san. Danzo chuckled again at the affectionate nickname. Then, after some final conversation, he departed, leaving Naruko to reflect under the sky. Was this the right path? She wondered, but deep inside, her heart told her. She would find the answer in time. Time skip, 4 years later. Naruko bowed respectfully to Danzo as she approached him. From behind her mask, she spoke politely, how are you, Danzo Oji-san? Danzo gave a brief nod. Although he once frowned at the informal address, over time, he accepted it. The psychological training Naruko underwent never took full effect. Unlike other members of Root, she retained her emotions. No matter how many sessions she completed, her spirit remained unbroken. Despite this, Danzo came to see her not only as his most capable operative but also as something of a surrogate niece. Cheerful by nature, Naruko knew how to switch gears when necessary. In serious moments, she adopted the calm, composed focus of any elite shinobi. I'm doing well, Naruko. I take it your mission was a success? Hi, Danzo Oji-san. The mission has been completed. Excellent. Naruko offered a small smile at the praise. Thank you, Danzo Oji. That was one habit Danzo had long given up trying to change. She always called him Oji-san, except during official duties when she respectfully addressed him as Danzo-sama. How is your training progressing, Naruko? I trust it is continuing smoothly. Hi. I'm nearing completion of my elemental studies. Danzo was still surprised by how quickly Naruko advanced. From the very beginning, she absorbed knowledge with remarkable ease. She was only 7 when he concluded her initial 2-year training, and now, at 9, her skills were beyond even his expectations. Her talent was undeniable. Regardless of her heritage, she was destined for greatness. Her progress made her one of Danzo's most valued students. Naruko had mastered several taijutsu forms including the Northern Shaolin style, the Praying Mantis style, and the Dance of the Leaf. Not only did she master them, but she also refined and adapted them to the point where even the Sharingan could not replicate them. She once told Danzo, I don't want anyone copying my style, and made sure each one reflected her individuality. Additionally, she created original taijutsu styles, Tripudio de Uranicus Angelus, Dance of the Heavenly Angel, and Donum de Luna, Gift of the Moon. These unique styles were both graceful and precise, signature examples of her creativity. Naruko was also highly skilled in kenjutsu. She forged her own techniques to match her custom weapon, a grand scythe named Anima, meaning soul or life, passed down by her mother. Standing nearly as tall as she was, Naruko wielded the scythe with unmatched ease. Its handle was a sleek black, and its blade forged from a special, unbreakable alloy. The weapon was said to possess a will of its own. Only Naruko could wield it, and the scythe chose to bond with her alone. Outside of physical combat, Naruko was an exceptional practitioner of ninjutsu and fuinjutsu. Initially attuned to wind, her natural elemental affinity expanded through training with elemental spirits. She became an omni-elemental, capable of wielding all elements with precision. She trained under both Kazuki and Hinako, Kazuki guiding her physical and spiritual growth, and Hinako focusing on her celestial abilities. With Kazuki's support, she accessed powers inherited from their unique bond, and Hinako taught her healing arts, which she excelled at due to her remarkable control. Naruko also mastered jutsus to such a level that she no longer required hand seals. Her wind-based techniques were already perfected, especially due to the guidance of wind spirits and Hinako. Her seal crafting surpassed even Jiraiya and her father, due to her ability to work with both sacred and mystical energy types. Her genjutsu skills reached impressive levels, sharpened through training with Danzo, Hinako, and her inner energy. These efforts unlocked an advanced ability within her angelic lineage, the Eye of Truth. With it, she could perceive hidden truths, assess strengths and weaknesses, and analyze situations instantly, a talent that elevated her tactical prowess. Naruko also formed special connections with animals. She could summon a wide range of creatures including foxes, butterflies, doves, and wolves. Each animal formed a bond with her, and her home was surrounded by these trusted companions. She was even capable of summoning Kazuki, also known as Kyubi by others. Her training with Kustos, another celestial mentor, continued steadily. Kustos, like Hinako, trained her in sacred techniques and abilities. Naruko had fully mastered her family's legacy techniques, including her father's signature moves, Hiraishin and Rasengan. She even enhanced the Hiraishin to work without needing to place a seal physically. With great mental focus, she could mark and teleport to targets remotely. This innovation required extraordinary concentration and chakra control. Her version of Rasengan included several elemental combinations: Wind Release, Rasengan, Rasen Shuriken, Great Ball Rasengan, Fire Release, Rasengan, and more. She was still exploring combinations involving earth, water, and lightning. Now, Naruko stood before Danzo, dressed in her standard mission attire, a plain mask and an Onbu-style uniform, what she liked to call her work clothes. "You are dismissed," Danzo said. "Hi, Danzo Oji," she replied, and vanished without a trace. Back at her private residence, Naruko returned, took a warm shower, and changed into more comfortable clothes. Her home, hidden and secure, was a beautiful retreat she cherished. Only Danzo and the third Hokage had seen it, and both were quietly astonished by its serenity and charm. As she smiled softly to herself in the shower, her thoughts wandered back to a particular memory. Flashback. Naruko stood before the third Hokage. Privacy seals surrounded them, ensuring a confidential conversation. "You what?" the Hokage exclaimed in disbelief. "I joined Root, Oji-san." She replied calmly. "No. Absolutely not. Who knows what Danzo might." "Oji-san. You could end up being." "Oji-san. Completely." "Oji-san." Naruko finally interrupted with a firm tone, clearly growing impatient. "I'll be fine, Oji-san. Danzo Oji said it's okay for me to have emotions as long as I complete my missions. I want to make my parents proud. I want to honor their legacy." The third sighed, knowing that no matter how the conversation continued, Naruko's resolve would not change. "Very well." Suddenly beaming, Naruko jumped up and hugged him. "Thank you. I promise I'll do my best." "But you better not get into danger, young lady," the Hokage muttered as he gently released her. "I won't. I'm Naruko Uzumaki." She cheered proudly. The Hokage chuckled, clearly charmed by her spirit. As she prepared to leave, she paused and noticed the piles of paperwork on his desk. "Oji-san, why not let a shadow clone handle that?" she offered innocently. The Hokage stared at her in shock, the idea clearly having just occurred to him. Naruko giggled and vanished in a swirl of wind. "Johnny, Oji-san." Flashback end. Naruko dried off, humming happily. Though her days were filled with training and missions, her heart remained light and determined. And in her journey, she continued to grow, not only as a kunoichi but as a kind, powerful protector of her village and legacy. After a certain event, the Hokage granted Naruko access to the Hokage library. Within just 2 months, Naruko had completed reading all of the scrolls available. Mastering each technique took longer, but her dedication never wavered. After finishing her morning shower, Naruko stepped out, wrapped in a towel. She headed to her room and began getting ready for the day. Her usual attire consisted of a black tank top, over which she wore a specially designed armored vest bearing the symbols of the Hidden Leaf, Uzumaki, Namikaze, and Senju clans. She secured black, armored, fingerless gloves onto her hands and added weights to her arms for training. She then slipped into knee-length trousers, added leg weights, and stepped into specially made combat boots that absorbed impact efficiently. Next, she picked up her mask, a plain one marked only with a single kanji representing guardian. She then donned her special cloak, a black robe crafted by skilled elemental artisans. This cloak had remarkable abilities. It granted her invisibility, allowed her to pass unnoticed, and provided warmth and ease of movement. Made from a fabric that could blend into shadows, it was effective against all known sensory techniques, even the Byakugan and Sharingan. It flowed like a gentle breeze, hiding her golden hair and her footsteps, yet never restricting her agility. Fully prepared, Naruko seamlessly appeared in the Hokage's office, where the third Hokage and Elder Danzo were already waiting. The room's security seals activated the moment she arrived, and she removed her mask respectfully. "Konnichiwa, Sarutobi Oji-san, Danzo Oji-san," she greeted politely. Both elders smiled in response. "Konnichiwa, Naruko-chan," they said warmly. The third Hokage spoke first. "Naruko, it seems you haven't been spending much time with others your age." Naruko gave a slight shrug, clearly unimpressed with her generation's aspiring ninja. "We'd like you to take on a team," Danzo added. Naruko's eyes widened. "What? Why? I don't want to lead a team." The Hokage replied calmly, "We believe it would be good for you to build relationships with your peers. If you choose not to take a team, we may place you on one instead." That would be even worse, Naruko thought with a sigh. "Fine. But I'd prefer to mentor just one person. I'd rather have an apprentice than lead a full team." The Hokage exchanged a glance with Danzo and nodded. "Very well, one apprentice." Danzo handed her a stack of files. "Review these and then observe the students in class today." Naruko nodded. She created a few shadow clones to begin analyzing the files while she herself set off to observe the students personally. Thanks to her advanced mastery of the shadow clone technique, she could see and hear through her clones, regardless of distance. She bowed respectfully, replaced her mask, and disappeared into the shadows. The Hokage sighed with a small smile. At least she's willing to take someone under her wing. At the academy. Naruko observed from the shadows, hidden perfectly. No one sensed her presence, not that she expected them to. She examined each student carefully. Yamanaka Ino, a bit distracted by admiration for others, but promising. According to her file, she demonstrated strong chakra control and above-average academic scores. With guidance, she could excel as a genjutsu specialist or even a medic nin. Nara Shikamaru, true to his clan's nature, laid back and quietly thoughtful. Despite his apparent indifference, he was clearly a hidden genius with great potential as a strategist. Akimichi Kuji, energetic and cheerful. He had a firm grasp of his clan's techniques and showed potential as a dependable close-range fighter. Inuzuka Kiba and his partner Akamaru, full of enthusiasm and confidence. Though sometimes boastful, he had the instincts of a capable tracker and could one day become an excellent field operative. Aburame Shino, quiet, observant, and focused. His analytical skills were impressive, making him an ideal candidate for specialized roles such as tracking or tactical support. Hyuga Hinata, kind-hearted and gentle. Her potential stood out clearly. She had the skills for close-range combat and chakra control that could be honed for healing arts. What she needed most was confidence. Haruno Sakura, intelligent and book-smart, though still growing in physical training. Her chakra control was exceptional. If she dedicated herself, she could develop into a skilled medical ninja. Uchiha Sasuke, a bit withdrawn, with a clear drive to improve. His skills were solid, but his focus needed balance. With proper guidance, he could rise to his full potential. After careful consideration and reading all the files through her clones, Naruko returned to the Hokage's office. "So, have you made your choice?" the third asked. Naruko removed her mask and smiled. "Yes, I've made my decision." Dear YouTube community. That concludes today's content. If you found it valuable, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your continued support. 6 Path Weeb.